Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today I'm going to present the editorial differently. I'm going to present three important pages, the front page, the editorial page, and science related page. And I'm going to talk about the importance of these pages. And let us start with the front page. Usually what happens, I tell students you can learn from the editorial a lot of English. Besides that, when I tell students how to read the newspaper, I tell students to read the headlines and the editorial. And coming to headlines, why should you read? You can learn a lot from the headlines. Coming to this particular front page, look at the news over here. Disclose complete details of poll bonds, SC tells SBI. Disclose, we have got many a time in editorials. Disclose means to make something public. In this context, information. Disclose, divulge, reveal, all these words you have to recollect. And let us go to uh, the next one. Ahead of Lok Sabha poll, Election Commission transfers 6 Home Secretaries, 1 DGP. There's nothing to learn from this headline. And this news item, after securing another term, Putin says Russia is aiming at establishing a buffer zone in Ukraine. Buffer zone. Buffer zone means that between two zones, in between two zones, there's something that is known as a buffer zone. You can learn something. Now, coming to the editorial page, this is the editorial page. Today's editorial, trade puzzle. One editorial, short editorial, the other one, hollow victory. Hollow opposite solid. Solid, everything inside. And nothing inside, we say hollow. And violence, homelessness, and women's mental health. This is something very important. If you get time, you have to have a look. Especially bank exams, what is the reason? Bank exams, if you take descriptive English, they ask questions about problems related to women, any dimension they could touch. For awareness, you have to read that article. And one more article, the MIRV leap that fires up India's nuclear deterrence. Deterrent, deterrent, one word form. Deterrence, noun form, an important word. Something that prevents from something happening. Nuclear weapons act as a deterrent. I've said many a time. So this is also an important word you have to learn. Coming to the last third page, geologists can't agree when the Anthropocene began, but it did. Anthropocene, an important word. Today, this word is in the limelight, and Anthropocene, an important word. But here you have to recollect the meaning of the root anthro. Anthro means related to mankind. Anthropology, study of mankind. Based on that, you can recollect important words. Misanthrope, one who hates mankind, misanthrope. There's another article, plastic chemicals more than estimated report. This is also important. I'm talking from banks, civils, and SSC point of view. Current affairs, today we talk about microplastics, an important topic. You have to read this. And SBI, once they gave a question based on corals, Great Barrier Reef. And there's one science quiz, the science quiz, coral bleaching, how reefs lose their vitality. You should know something about corals so that it becomes easy for you to answer questions. If at all they touch corals as a context and give a question. That's all about today's important pages. Let us go to the editorial. Now, as usual, we'll start with the question: what is the enrichment? Philanthrope, very good. Naidu Paidi, someone who works for the benefit of the mankind, who contributes. Usually, it goes with industrialist. Coming to today's enrichment, the question: when you spend so much time with me, what are you going to enrich? Get enriched, and what are you going to learn? Obviously, reading skill. Today's editorial is related to foreign trade, exports, economy related, an important topic, and comprehension skill related to exports, in a way foreign trade, and vocabulary enrichment. There are about 20 words, a lot of words today. Because this editorial is all about exports, you may come across a lot of data related to technical data, in the sense statistics. But words, if you take 20 words, are there, very important that way. Grammar consolidation, today I have brought 5 phrasal verbs, not idioms, actually I should have corrected. Important phrasal verbs, a new approach with a context, you have to guess the meaning. And error location, 5 questions. No fillers, but para jumble I have brought. Lack of time, I could not make the corrections over here. Parajumble, error location, and phrasal verbs, parajumble, and writing skill. If you write about exports or generally about foreign trade, that will help in the long run. Let us start with editorial vocabulary. Today it may take a lot of time. Today it is all about vocabulary in a way. The reason being exports, foreign trade, usually the editorial, you come across statistical data. But along with that, in this editorial, a lot of words are there. Let us see the very first word, uptick. Uptick, part of speech, noun. An increase, rise, or upward trend. Trend is a noun. An increase, rise, or upward trend. Something increases suddenly, then we say uptick. Not substantial, but a little. Heartening. It is heartening to know that something positive has happened. Means what? Making you feel happier and more positive. It's a positive word, part of speech, adjective. And sustain, we have got many a time, part of speech, verb. To cause or allow something to continue for a period of time. Sustain has escalate, spike, very good, Naidu, I appreciate that. Sustain has many meanings. Today we talk about heartening gesture, very good, Anand. Sustainability, sustainable practices, sustainable goals, using the resources wisely, keeping the next generation in mind. We use resources, and we use resources wisely. That is known as sustainability, sustainable practice. But here, sustain, another meaning, to hold something for a long time, to cause or allow something to continue for a period of time. You allow something to continue, carry on, you can say, Divya, very good. And maintain, usually I give the word maintain. Sustain means what? Maintain. I also give the example, I could not sustain their interest for a long time. Means what? I could not maintain their interest for a long time. Tumultuous, an important word, though we have got a few times. Part of speech, adjective. Making an uproar or loud, confused noise. This is one meaning. For this, generally we say uproar, an important word. Usually, if you read the newspapers, you come across this word quite often, and the context is Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The sentence may go this way: there was an uproar in the parliament. There was an uproar in Lok Sabha. Uproar, a noisy commotion. Also, you can think of making an uproar or loud, confused noise. Excited, confused, or disorderly. Another meaning of this negative connotation, turbulent also you can use. Very good, Divya. I appreciate that. Disorder, confused state. For that, you have to recollect the word chaos. Chaos also an important word. Tally, a simple word. It can be a noun. It can cacophony also you can say. Very good, Naidu. Uh, Tally, part of speech, can be a noun, can be a verb. But in this context, a noun. A tally is a continuous count of something. Tally, the number, the count. Breach, we have got so many times, part of speech, verb. To break a law, promise, agreement, or relationship. Usually it goes with an agreement or a contract. Breach of contract, a standard. Pandemonium, wonderful. Who is that? Subhakar. Very good. I appreciate that. And chaotic, yes. Here, breach means what? Breach a contract. But breach also goes with a concrete structure. When you refer the word breach to a concrete structure, it means what? Crack. And spurt also we have got many a time, a sudden marked burst or increase of activity or speed. Sudden increase in something, spurt of something. And persistent also we have got many a time, part of speech, adjective, continuing to do something or to try to do something even though it is difficult or other people want you to stop. Imagine you face a lot of problems, a lot of hardships, still you want to continue, then persistent efforts. And persistent efforts always required while preparing for competitive exams. Persistent. Infringe, you can say, intrude, you can say, though they go with other context. Disrupt, verb, disruption, noun. We have got many a time. A break or interruption, generally it goes with interruption in the normal course of or continuation of some activity process. Generally, the word disrupt or disruption goes with services, one combination, and another combination, it also goes with supply chain. At the time of COVID editorials, we would come across this related to supply chain, disruption in supply chain. And drought usually goes with rain. You all know that. No rain for a long time, drought. And we also use the idiomatic expression dry spell, but it may go with other context. I used once or twice, we got in editorials. Drought, it goes with cricket players or tennis players. Imagine a particular tennis player could not get a title for a long time. There was a drought in the title, getting the titles. And cricket, a batsman could not score a lot of runs. Then drought, bad patch also we say. A long period when there's little or no rain, drought. Famine, famine, we say, that is also an important word you have to. But famine goes more with a lack of food, Subhakar, I appreciate, but it goes more with what? Food, no food, poverty, hunger, starvation. Spike also we got many a time, part of speech noun. It can also be a verb. A very high amount, price or level, usually before a fall. Something goes up suddenly, there's a spike, sudden increase in something. We also use the word surge. Plausible, an important word, part of speech adjective, having an appearance of truth or reason, seemingly worthy of approval or acceptance. Simply, you can say believable or credible. Credible or high. RCB ends its title drought. Very good. Lakshman. Fruition. You got to be careful with pronunciation. Fruition, part of speech noun. I think we got this last week. The realization or fulfillment of a plan or project. Something becomes real, something gets fulfilled, then we use the expression fruition of something. And reckoning, reckon, part of speech verb, reckoning, verb ing form used as a noun. We use the word technical term gerund. To think or suppose, reckon means to think deeply, consider. You can also, yes, credible, reasonable, feasible, probable. Gauge, you got to be careful with pronunciation, gauge. Estimate or determine the amount, level, or volume of. You can say analyze, estimate. Typical word, estimate, gauge something. Upbeat, a positive word, cheerful, optimistic. Optimistic, ponder also you can say. Then we have to think of a lot of words like ponder, pensive, and introspect, all these words. Upbeat, cheerful, optimistic. Linger, we have got many a time. Lingering thoughts. Stay in a place longer than necessary because of a reluctance to leave. And hike, hike can be a noun, can be a verb. This also we have got many a time. And increase, especially in quantity or amount. Sudden increase, hike in prices, hike in wages. Plummet also we have got many a time. Plummeted, part of speech verb, to drop sharply and abruptly. Abruptly means suddenly, brood over, dwell on, very good. Tripur Sundari. Adverse, adverse report means what? Adjective. Preventing success or development, harmful, unfavorable. Adverse condition, adverse situation, adverse circumstances. Adverse report means a negative report, unfavorable report. These are the words, but what is surprising here, you can see the number 20 words. Those who have been attending this platform regularly, for those students, I'm sure only a few words, maybe 4 or 5 words, may be new words. All of the words are familiar words, and they have added, they have done value addition. And they know these words for sure. That is what simple words, to stay for a long time, Anil Kumar. Linger means to stay for a long time. Something stays for a long time, or you stay at a place for a long time. Then we use a different word, but it goes more with thoughts, ideas. Imagine you got a thought or a few thoughts. They are there for a long time. Then you have to say lingering thoughts. Now, the question, a pertinent question, relevant question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the recent uptick, increase in goods exports from India in February, highlighting it as a positive development amidst, in the middle of challenges in global trade. Today, if you look at exports and imports, global trade or foreign trade, there are some challenges, especially because of the West Asian crisis, the war between the Israel and the Hamas, and the Red Sea. There are two channels through which the goods are exported and imported. One is Panama Canal; it is a drought hit. The second one, Red Sea, being attacked by terrorists. These are the challenges right now. In the middle of these challenges, amidst these challenges, there's something positive. What is that positive? Uptick in goods exports from India in the month of February. The tone of the editorial is cautious. Cautious means careful and analytical, purely analytical, but here and there cautious. We have to be careful because of the global challenges right now in the present scenario. How does it start? Trade puzzle. Puzzle, again, some students have contributed. You have to think of words like puzzle, bewilder, perplex, puzzle, confused. Confused is a simple word. Bewildered, perplexed, puzzled, confused, more or less the same. And a puzzle as a noun, we use one word, riddle. A riddle also means a puzzle, but generally I'm confused, I'm bewildered, perplexed, confused, related words. You got to be careful. Cautious, you can think of words like vigilant and careful. Trade puzzle on exports and global trade. Two things: one exports, the other one global trade. And here the the uptick in goods and exports is heartening. Uptick. Very good, Tripura Sundari. Have a look at those words of Latin and Greek origin. Singular is different, plural is different. The uptick in goods exports is heartening, something positive. You feel very happy about that, but difficult to sustain. Something is positive. Immediately, writer introduces a negative word. Then we have to use a contrasting word. We can also use the word however, but, and difficult to sustain means what? Difficult to continue, difficult to maintain. Towards the end of a tumultuous trading here means what? Confused, disorderly, disturbing, something negative. Towards the end of a tumultuous trading year, India's goods export jumped 11.9% in Feb, marking the healthiest uptick, the superlative form, in months, in 20 months. In 20 months, the the ultimate, the peak, the healthiest uptick in 20 months, and it has jumped to 11.9%. All these sentences are Divya also has come up with the words of Latin and Greek origin, very important from the exam point of view. See, this editorial, nothing to explain as such. You have to focus on the data, and your focus should be more on vocabulary and grammar. The 41.4 billion US dollar tally, the number, is the highest in 11 months. Again, it talks about something. Tally is the highest in 11 months, and only the third occasion in 2 years that the 40 billion mark has been breached. Generally, we don't use this word in this context. I'm rather surprised because breach has a negative connotation. Here it talks about something positive. The 41.4 billion US billion tally is the highest in 11 months and only the third occasion in 2 years that the 40 billion mark has been breached. It is something positive. It means it has crossed. What does it mean? Crossed the 40 billion dollar US dollar mark, breached. But a negative word has been used in a positive context. It is remarkable that this spurt, this sudden increase, significantly higher than the average export tally of 35.4 US billion in the first 10 months of this year. And this is remarkable. Why is it remarkable? Why is it significant? It is not the usual thing, it is above the usual average thing, higher than the average export tally of 35.4 US billion in the first 10 months of this year comes amid, in the middle of. Some students ask me, sir, what is the difference between amid and amidst? No difference, both mean the same. That is the reason why the writer has used one sentence, the writer has used amidst. In another sentence, the writer has used amidst, amid. No difference whatsoever. comes amid in the middle of persistent. Persistent means relevant concerns about disruptions in the Red Sea and drought hit Panama Canal. As I said, when it comes to exports and imports, when it comes to global trade, when it comes to foreign trade, two channels are very important. One is the Panama Canal between the North American continent and the South American continent. It is part of the Central America. And the other one, the Red Sea. Before any sea, we have to use a definite article there that you have to recollect and the persistent concerns, relevant concerns about disruptions break in the supply chain in the Red Sea and the drought hit Panama Canal that have throttled. I should have brought this in yellow. Throttle means to make something or someone get suffocated. You all know the word suffocate. Throttle means suffocate. Vital trading routes means those vital important trading routes are being affected. They're not able to carry the goods comfortably with ease. Then the writer has used throttled vital trading routes and spiked, increased the time and cost of moving consignments. Obviously, time is precious when it comes to export trade. It takes, imagine the particular consignment means the order takes instead of 10 words, 10 days, 20 days. It costs two factors here, time and cost of moving. Both are important for business people. Here have throttled vital trading routes and spiked, increased the time and cost of moving consignments. Consignment means an order, very simple order. While the last 2 months trade numbers, 2 months here again very important. We have a plural noun ending in the letter S, then there's an important rule. If a plural noun ends in the letter S, we have to use apostrophe after the letter S, not before. While the last 2 months trade numbers suggest that India is yet to feel the full impact of the logistics challenges for servicing key markets in Europe and the Americas, it may be too simplistic a conclusion. Now we see an uptick. The writer says last 2 months, perhaps something positive, and there's an uptick, but it is too early to come to a conclusion. Looking at the challenges India is going to face or challenges the world is facing when it comes to exports and imports. While the last 2 months trade numbers suggest that India is yet to feel the full impact of the logistics challenges. Logistics goes with transport, sending goods, receiving goods, logistics challenges for servicing key markets, for providing goods to key markets in Europe and the Americas, an important expression. It may be too simplistic a conclusion, means too early, too simple to conclude. It is plausible. Plausible means what? Credible, believable, likely to be true. It is plausible that some of February's numbers may reflect shipments that were probably dispatched earlier and reached their destinations only last month using longer routes. There's a possibility. Now you see an uptick. What could be the reason? Time factor. Imagine they sent in the month of November and supposed to reach in the month of December, but because of the challenges, it reached in the month of Feb. Obviously, that results in an uptick, but you have to look at the time taken, longer routes, longer time. Economists believe a combination of backlogged orders attaining fruition and demand improvements may be at work. And what is the reason behind, according to economists, believe a combination of two things. What are the two things? Demand fruition, orders attaining fruition means order placed in November attaining fruition in the month of Feb. And demand improvements may be at work. These two things may be at work. However, with interest rates still high, global demand conditions are yet to demonstrate the rebound the World Trade Organization had hoped for in 2024. Still, it is not the right time to decide whether it is actual rebound or not because so many factors have to be considered. The World Trade Organization expects global trade to rise at 3.3% this year after a 0.8% crawl in 2023. Crawl means in this context actually crawl. Usually it goes with babies, crawling baby. moving on the four arms and legs, crawling baby. And when someone cannot stand properly, the person crawls. But crawl means not significant, marginal, and subtle. Crawl in 2023. But by its own reckoning, by its own thinking, using a gauge called the Goods Trade Barometer, things are yet to perk up, means yet to improve. As of March, perk is also an important word. When you take up a job, you ask the question, what are the perks? Means besides your salary, you get extra something, perks. Here, perk up means increase, yet to perk up. As of March 8th, the barometer, where a reading of over 100 reflects above trend exim volumes, had a reading of just 100.6, just marginal. Above 100 reflects over 100 reflects above trend exim volumes, export import volumes, but had a reading of just 100.6. That is negligible. The export orders parameter was marginally higher at 101.7, but container shipping slipped to 98.6. All these go with exports and imports. Some modest gains in the first quarter of 2024 may be seen owing to the base effects of a weak 2023, but any such gains could be easily derailed. Derail means go off the track by regional conflicts and geopolitical tensions. The World Trade Organization has warned. There is slight improvement everywhere, but only one particular area there is something negative. Container shipping slipped to 98.6. And wherever you see improvement, marginal improvement, negligible improvement. And looking at the present geopolitical tensions and the regional conflicts, the World Trade Organization has warned it is they can be derailed, but any such gains could be easily derailed. Means this go off the track. Derail, an important one. Usually it goes with train. A train goes off the rails of the track. Then we say derailment, noun form. Policymakers may have turned upbeat. Maybe they are cheerful, optimistic because of slight improvement. Policymakers may have turned, might have turned, may have turned. They talk about a possibility, which is a guess. About surpassing means overtaking last year's record overall exports, merchandise and services combined, but must not lose personal obligation imposed by the writer, must not lose sight of the lingering risks, existing risks. Someone asked, sir, what is the meaning of linger in a simple way? Exist for a long time. Sight of the lingering risks and challenges, including the impact of freight hikes on margins. One more dimension besides the challenges related to geopolitical and other challenges like drought hit Panama Canal, including the impact of freight hikes on margins, hikes when it comes to increase when it comes to freight transportation. While electronics goods exports have been an outlier in 2023-24's weak exports narrative, minus 3.5% so far, the World Trade Organization's latest barometer reading for electronic components trade has plummeted to 95.6. So this sector is not doing well based on the editorial. This is visible in February's numbers as both electronics imports and both, and you got to be careful, exports grew just fractionally over 1%. That is negligible again. For now, the trade deficit should not be a concern for the time being. For now means for the time being, the trade deficit should not be a concern, despite imports jumping at a 17-month high pace last month, led by a spike in inflows of increasingly pricey gold. This again talks about imports, especially gold imports. Finding better ways to support exporters, especially in adversely hit employment intensive sectors. Adversely means badly hit, such as textiles, they are purely employment intensive, and gems and jewelry remains critical. In this scenario, something remains critical or important. What is it? Employment intensive sectors such as textiles and gems and jewelry, they are adversely hit, and that remains a concern. That concern remains important. That's all about this editorial. Please go to questions based on the editorial to improve your comprehension skill. Today, the questions you can expect the questions based on statistical data. What was the percentage increase in India's goods exports in February compared to the previous year? Led, despite, in spite of. Despite of is not correct. In spite of, you have to write as three separate words, not as two words. Do remember that. Still, I appreciate. I appreciate those students who have been contributing. Wonderful, great. You are making each session a lively and enriching session. I would like to thank you guys for that, both and from to other than else, but not only, but also. Very good, Divya, I appreciate. Answer is A, 11.9%. What is the primary concern highlighted regarding global trade? Primary concern regarding what? Global trade. According to the World Trade Organization, what is the primary concern? A surge in global demand, logistics challenges in vital trading routes, decrease in interest rates, stagnation means no growth in export orders. Laying, and also laid. All the three you have to recollect. Please answer. Logistics challenges in vital trading routes. What is the reading of the goods trade barometer mentioned in the editorial as of March 8th? As of March 8th, how much is it? This is a bit difficult. You have to cross check. Third one, you guys got the first one right, the second one right. But what is the third one? 100.6. Why not? There's so many patterns, Ramesh, yet to come. That is one expression. Yet he is not happy. But some context has to be understood. We can make 100.6. Very good. Which sector has been an outlier in the weak exports narrative during 23-24 according to the editorial? This is again not easy, but you can answer. Textiles, electronics, gems and jewelry, agriculture. One particular sector has been outlier in the weak exports narrative during 23-24. It is electronics sector. Very good, Lakshman. What caution does the editorial provide regarding the trade deficit despite the increase in imports, especially gold? My pleasure. What caution? Cautious. The tone cautious based on that question. Does the editorial provide regarding the trade deficit despite the increase in imports? Something that is not appears to be true or something that is negative. B, imports are not sustainable in the long term. Imports are not sustainable in the long run. Seems to be right. Exception. You can say that also. Very good, Divya. I appreciate. Who asked that question? Lakshman, have a look at the comment box. Outlier, anomaly, exception, something that is different. Imports are not sustainable. The deficit may lead to an economic crisis. No. Take elimination approach. Imports are not sustainable in the long run. Hold this one. The deficit should not be a concern for now. I think it should be C because we got a sustainable word. We also got for now the expression the deficit should not be a concern. But in the long run, one has to be careful. I think the answer is C because it talks about caution. C is the answer. No, no, the question is what caution does editorial provide? The deficit should not be a concern for now. Means what? For the time being, it's not a concern. But in the long run, it may be a concern. That's a caution, trying to be careful. And there are two courses I have launched. Foundation course for all competitive exams, especially banks and SSC. One is in English, the other one is in Telugu, bilingual. And the course fee is 3,000, but a discount of 500. The course fee is 2,500. Evening 6 p.m. English to English batch and a 7:30 p.m. likely time slot bilingual batch. The course is open, you can purchase. And actual classes I may start. I will announce, then you will come to know. Let us go to today. I could not bring the timer. Spot the error. Read the first one and try to spot the error. With a range of over 5,000 kilometers, the Agni 5 is the longest range missile India tested so far. Where is the error? No one has responded. Question number one, based on error location. How come this long? Should not take this long. With a range of over 5,000, a range of, nothing wrong. You can also say but with a range, nothing wrong with that. With a range of over 5,000 kilometers, the Agni 5 is the longest range missile, nothing wrong. But I've told many a time, I'm rather surprised only one student, Shiva Prasad, has got it right. There's an error in the fourth part. No, 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 no. So far, see, when it comes to English, exposure to the language is very important. When you read a lot, you get exposed, obviously. And I've told many a time, whenever you come across certain phrases, one of the phrases, so far, means what? Past to present. Past to present. This is a situation. When we talk about an action that begins in the past and comes to the present, or a situation that begins in the past and comes to the present, we have to use present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. So far, till now, means what? Present perfect has to be used. Based on that, you cannot say India tested. India has tested so far. India has tested so far. We have learned 1,000 words so far. I have learned something so far. Present perfect. Question number two. The executive working president has been holding meetings with the leaders at the parliamentary constituency level to install confidence in them. Tell me where is the error? No one has responded. How come so long today? The executive working president has been holding meetings with leaders at the parliamentary constituency level, parliamentary constituency level, nothing wrong. There's an error in the fourth part. Not to install. Install doesn't go with the context. I always tell you guys, when you read a sentence, you should understand the context. You should have contextual awareness. Contextual awareness, very important. Context does not talk about installing something. What is the word here? Confidence. Confidence, we use the word instill. Instill confidence. Give confidence. Make someone confident. Double L, single L. You can use this or that, but here, instill, not install. Question number 3. Major breakthroughs in the AI domain, artificial intelligence domain, will bring about a new chapter in human existence, including the way people react to both facts and falsehoods. Today, if you get all the 5 correct, outstanding. Not at all easy. Today, the questions are rather difficult. Major breakthroughs in the AI domain, sphere or field or arena will bring about a new chapter in human existence, including the way people react to both facts and falsehoods. Question number 3. Please mention the question number. SP Gowda says first part, and Satish also says first part. I would like to tell something, you guys. Please listen very carefully. I've been doing for the last 2 years the Hindu Editorial Analysis, more than 2 years, but my channel, 2 years. I've never got a negative comment. This is a very positive channel. Students are always positive, and we never come across comments that are disturbing, comments that are negative. That is something outstanding. I feel very happy about that. Morning, I got for the first time, once or twice. I think this morning I saw one, the second time. And it's about my regularity. All of you should understand, to come up with the session, the Hindu editorial, I need to spend 3 hours every day. It takes a lot of time. And this is not my first priority because I'm doing this as a service. This is not a paid channel. You're not paying for this. And I teach offline 5 hours, 6 hours, and I teach my own channel, my own app. There's so many things I have to do. And sometimes it is possible, sometimes it is not possible to take the session. When it is not possible, when I say there's no session, you should have the patience and you should be understanding. Perhaps there's some important work today you cannot take, but you come up with negative comments, that is not acceptable. Please remember that. And you're preparing for competitive exams, you try to come up with negative comments. You are receiving information from me, you're receiving knowledge from me free of cost, and you try to comment. That is not a good thing. If I don't take continuously, imagine 4 days continuously, I may leave a message. That's why we have a group, Telegram group. In that Telegram, I tell the students, no classes for 2 days because of some reason. You should accept that. You cannot question, you cannot demand. Please do remember. And one bad person, the whole thing gets spoiled. Almost all, I get 1,000+ views, never get negative comments. Rarest of rare. In 2 years, it's a record in my opinion. This could be the only channel where you don't come across negative statements, negative comments. Everything positive here. So I would like to tell that guy, whether I don't know whether he's there or not, don't be hasty and don't try to pass negative comments on this platform. If you're not interested, don't attend. Very simple. No one is forcing you. We are trying to enrich your knowledge, going out of the way. You should always remember that. Very good. I appreciate those students who have answered the first part. What is wrong with the first part? Breakthrough is something major. This question goes with redundancy. I understand your pain, your anguish for not having regular sessions, but you should understand from our point of view. Sometimes it is possible, sometimes it is not possible. 1 or 2 days you pass hasty comments, not acceptable. We cannot say major breakthroughs. Hmm. Major should not be used. I really appreciate those who have answered. The first part, there's an error. I told last week, I think, common error, redundancy related. People say major breakthrough. Breakthrough itself is something major development. You cannot say major breakthrough. The word major should not be used. Very good. Go to question number 4. With the 7 phase general election in India having been announced and to be held from April 19th to June 1st, 2024, political parties and the electorate cannot, however, afford to ignore the AI dimension. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please read this lengthy sentence, see if you can get the correct answer. Not easy. A word of caution. Three students have responded, but no one has got it right. With the 7 phase general election in India having been announced, nothing wrong, and to be held from April 19 to June 1st, 2024, nothing wrong. Political parties and the electorate cannot, however, afford to ignore the AI dimension. Nothing wrong. Answer is no error whatsoever. No error. Let us go to the last question based on error location. Evidence indicates that violence and mental health conditions have a reciprocal cause and effect relationship, and both factors significantly heighten the risk of homelessness. Nothing wrong. Always respect the fifth option. Do remember there is a fifth option, no error. Do recognize the fifth option. Evidence indicates that violence and mental health conditions have a reciprocal cause and effect relationship, and both factors significantly heighten the risk of homelessness. Whoever it is, in on this platform, I don't want to have negativity. It is almost like 100% positive channel. Every session is positive, positive vibes, 100% positive vibes. It is unique that way. Though the number is not substantial, I'm not bothered about the numbers. I'm bothered about the quality. Quality is important, not the quantity. This is again very important. Who has said there's an error in the third part? No one has said that. Evidence indicates that violence and mental health conditions have a reciprocal. Here, cause and effect. You got to read very carefully. Cause and effect, not effect. Answer is the third part, there's an error. Cause and effect relationship, not effect. Cause and effect. And both factors significantly heighten the risk of homelessness. Nothing wrong. Let us go to questions, or let us go to Parajumble. A bit challenging, but only 5 parts. Not easy. Today the questions are not easy. No need to get disappointed, Chandu. It happens sometimes. I would like to know, has anyone got all the 5 correct? In my opinion, not possible because of the level of difficulty. 3, you should be happy, Tripura Sundari. Divya, 2. 3, 3 plus should be happy. 2 also, nothing to worry. Let us go to the para jumble. In a way easy, in a way difficult. Context difficult. But based on Naidu also too, okay, clues are there. Guidance and accuracy are a necessity as re-entry vehicles have to be stabilized during atmospheric re-entry, ensuring that the receptacle that carries the warhead, there's no subject here. This you can consider. This a demonstrative pronoun cannot be the first one. Gouda also too, no, nothing to worry. And also a conjunction cannot be the first one. You can consider either A or E. What is the first one? E is the first one. Building MIRV capable ballistic missiles is not easy. Why? Usually writers they make a statement, they provide the reason. That way, second one is also easy. This is because it requires something. EC one pair. This parajumble 1 and 2 are easy, last one is easy. 3 and 4 little tricky. Last one is easy. 3 and 4 difficult. 1 and 2 easy. Easy, yes, that's right. What is the third one? This is because it requires meeting some very demanding technical criteria, such as nuclear warhead miniaturization. Miniature means very small. Ensuring that. But here we have a capital letter and a different idea. You cannot consider A. It should be B. Based on that, B is the third one. And after that, and also having the re-entry vehicles configured precisely, more information, and also based on that BD1 pair. Miniaturization, ensuring something, and also having the re-entry vehicles. That means what? BD1 pair. And what is the last one? Guidance and accuracy are a necessity as re-entry vehicles have to be stabilized during atmospheric re-entry. ECBDA. Wonderful. I appreciate those who have got it right. Now listen to me. Here you have a sentence and the phrasal verb is in yellow. All the five correct. Very good. You have to guess the meaning of these meanings of these phrasal verbs, but the context provides a clue. Should get all the five correct because there is a context. Based on the context, Tripura Sundari Divya, good. You should be happy. Make a mark next to. Read all the five sentences, understand the context, and try to. No one 4D. 4D. Why this order? Carry on. You're not going in a systematic way, no problem. 4B, many students have answered. I told him to carry on with his work, continue with his work. B is the answer. B, I think white would be better. 1, make a mark next to. Check each name of the list. 4B, that's right. Make a mark next to. Check each name of the list. This is D. Read aloud from a list. I read the number of the cargo. Answer is A. Read aloud, read. In a way you can guess. Become unconscious, pass out. He passed out means he became unconscious. Move towards, this has been given a few times. Make for, because it is not easy to guess. He already made for home when I arrived. Means what? Move towards home. and this is C. D, A, E, B, C. This is the order. Very good. I appreciate Vinod. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me. And today I started the session with three pages, important pages, the front page, the editorial page. I've touched in brief and I'll try to elaborate. Let us see how it goes. Thanks for being with me till the back end of the session. Good night to all of you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. But tomorrow it is going to be morning. Do remember. Tomorrow morning